Hey everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. So for today's video I'm going to be doing a wear test of the Flormar Mat Touch foundation. And for me this isn't a first impressions at all. I've had this for quite a while. I have it in the shade M305 Golden Honey, and generally it's a little bit too dark for me, but I have a little bit of a tan at the moment, so it should match me okay. And just to let you know about my skin and my preferences, I have oily skin, I have a lot of little acne scars, little marks, so I like good coverage and I like a matte finish. So before we apply it, let's just read what the company has to say about this foundation. So on the website, Flormar describes it as Matte Touch foundation creates a velvety and rich texture and matches your skin perfectly. Well, that's down to your shade choice. Flormar Matte Foundation is the best choice for a matte and smooth look. It also makes your skin look flawless and matte all day long. It is the best foundation for combination and oily skins. Apply Matte Touch foundation with a foundation brush or a sponge. A fine layer of this foundation will create the desired effect on your skin. And this foundation retails for about €10 here in Ireland, and there are 14 shades that I can see on the website. So the plan is to apply it now. It is now 2:10 in the afternoon. I don't know where the day has gone. But I'll wear it for as long as I can today, and I will insert pictures and close-ups as we go on. So I'll check in midway and I'll check in at the end of the night as well. And today I'm going to do something that I don't normally do, and that is try the foundation with a beauty blender. It did advise on the website to either wear it with a brush or apply it with a brush or a sponge. And for me personally, I'm just not a sponge person, I'm a brush person, that's just my preference. I just never really got into the whole beauty blender thing, even though I remember I got two of these when they first came out. I'm just a brush person because I'm more of a coverage person, and personally I just feel like I can get better coverage with a brush. But anyway, I'm hoping to start doing this in like these wear tests and first impressions and stuff, to try them with a brush and a sponge, and maybe that'll get me more into the sponge and using it a little bit more. So on one side I'll apply it with a brush, and one side I'll apply it with a sponge and see what kind of a difference that makes. So I'm just going to pump out one pump onto the back of my hand and see how far that gets us. So I'm going to start with my damp beauty blender and dip that in there. So as you can see, that is full coverage. The shade might be a little bit off, but we'll see if we can correct that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but obviously you can tell by now, but I don't wear any primer under the foundation when I'm testing it, when I'm wear testing it. I would like to start testing primers, doing like wear tests for primers, so I'm hoping to do that soon. I really like that. It's full coverage, the foundation is full coverage anyway. As I said, the colour is a bit off, but we might have to adjust that with a powder. Because I do like to set all my foundations, because I'm oily, they're just going to be a mess otherwise. And that's how I wear my foundation. I'm just going to take it up a little bit under the eye because my concealer was a little bit light. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I have a tutorial on these eyes that will have gone up just before this video, so I will link that up in a card up there and also down below. So I used most of one pump, so I'll pump out another pump here and see how much of that I use with a brush. So I'm going to use a flat top kabuki brush. This is the Sigma F80. So that is the side with the brush, again full coverage. I do feel like I use less product though, so I pumped out one pump here for the sponge, and that's how much is left right there, and then I pumped out a pump here for the brush, and I have a bit more left for that. So I do think they both give really good coverage. I might be like the tiniest little bit more dewy on the beauty blender side. That could just be my imagination though, really just a fraction. But I do think you use more product with the sponge. And for me, I think one pump would do me for a full face, and I like good coverage. So let me just take a little bit more on the pointy side of the sponge. I'll just bring that up a little bit higher. As I was saying, I will set the foundation. I set all my foundations because I'm oily skin and that's just how I would naturally wear foundation day to day. But I'm not going to try and change the foundation. I'm not going to really pack it on to really try and get the best wear out of it. I'm just going to set it in place to get rid of any excess shine for now and kind of colour adjust this shade anyway. So I'm just going to take a nice loose large powder brush, and I'm going to take this darkest shade from, this is the Ben Nye Bella powder palette, and just dust that over. Hopefully this doesn't go too dark. And I'm being very gentle because I don't want to move any of the foundation underneath, which generally does happen for me. So normally I kind of pack on my powder to really set it and keep it matte, but also so I'm not moving foundation underneath. But I do think that has happened. I don't know if you can see, but a little bit around here on the nose here and under here, there's a little bit more redness coming through where that foundation has moved. So I'm just going to go back in and tap with my brush, just try and get a little bit more of that product on there to even it out. It probably needed a little bit more time to set on its own before I went in with a powder, but so just in those areas I'm just going to gently tap the powder back on. Probably should have been more careful with that in the first place. Okay, so this is the foundation set. I wouldn't call it totally matte. Even with the powder on, I can still see a little bit of shine coming through. Since I've come back from holidays though, I've noticed that my skin is a little bit more dewy and that I've been able to see a difference in my foundations. But even so, I would probably class it more as like a satin matte or a demi matte, which I think is a nice finish for a foundation. It suits a lot of people that way, and you can kind of adjust it with primers and powders and things. So just to give you a closer look, that is how we are looking. The coverage is still there. As I say, there's a little bit of a glow, not too oily or anything. So now I'm just going to finish off my face makeup really quickly. So I just finished off the rest of my face. It is now 25 to 3. I probably finished applying the foundation at about 2:15. I was just a little bit slower with my makeup because I was filming it to finish off the tutorial. I've obviously gone for a little bit of a bolder lip, kind of a grey toned, cool toned, nudie lip. But I'll rock it for now. We'll see how we go. I'm kind of on the fence with that. I'm not sure if I like it or not. But anyway, if you want to see any of those face products, they will be over in that tutorial. So I will insert some starting pictures now, and I will check in at about 6:15, 7, 8, 9, 10, and try and wear it until 10:15. So I will see you later. Hey guys, so I'm back from my middle of the day check-in. It is now 6:25, so it's been just over 4 hours. And as you can see, and as expected, I'm pretty shiny to say the least. To be fair, we did start out with a bit of a glow going on, and I am oily. That's just the way it is. So ordinarily, if I was wearing a full face for a long period of time, I would touch it up by blotting and then adding a bit of powder. But this is pretty shiny. That is something that I have found in the past with this, that it's not the greatest at holding off oil throughout the day, that it does require some touching up. The other thing that I normally get with it is creasing. Today it isn't so bad, but I do get creasing in my smile lines, as I do with a lot of foundations, especially like if I'm talking a lot and stuff. Today I haven't really been talking very much apart from doing the video. But what I will say is that all of the coverage is still there. I don't see any blemishes or any marks coming through at all. And all of my cheek products are still there. I can still see my contour, blush and highlight. My highlight isn't really needed at the moment, but yeah, to be fair, the cheekbone area is extra glowy because I did have highlight on anyway. So yeah, that is how I'm looking 4 hours in. I will show you a close-up and insert some pictures, and then I'll see you at the end of the night. So this is how my face looks. It is now 12:30, so it is over 2 hours later than I was intending. So it has been over 10 hours of wear with no touching up, and I have oily skin, so I would expect it to be oily, but I'm like a mirror. I can nearly see my reflection in my face. I look like I've been swimming. That's not what you want when you've just been sitting editing for the day. Okay, so I'm just going to interject here with a note that I hadn't been checking my makeup throughout the day. I was just checking on it when I sat down to film, and when I finished filming this I went back in home and looked at it under normal lighting, and it didn't look as bad as it does here. It was still very oily, but it wasn't quite as mirror-like as it is here under the bright lights. So yeah, I will reiterate what I said though at the other check-in. All the coverage is still there. Nothing has worn away that I can see, except just around my nose where I have just been at my nose a little bit. But all of my acne marks and stuff that I don't want to come through haven't come through. So while it clearly isn't good at stopping oil coming through, oil doesn't break it down, which to me means it's controllable. You can keep your coverage all day long, you just can't keep your matte all day long. You'll have to keep on top of blotting and powdering. Which, as I say in my wear tests, that's what I would normally do. I don't expect to wear a foundation for 8 or 10 hours and not be like a freaking mirror ball. But to be fair, this is like exceptional. I have gotten the creasing in my smile lines. I'll give you a close-up in a second. You probably don't want that, but I'll give you a close-up just to be fair. But yeah, I haven't touched my lips since I did it earlier this afternoon. I haven't touched my eyes. I've gotten weird transferring, like 2 little dots just here. I don't know what transferred just here. Maybe the lash glue? Oh yeah, they're lifting. Oh god, this is not a good look. So I'll give you a little close up and just to really give you a good look at this oiliness. So yeah, it's just a mirror. Now I am under really bright lights, that's really emphasizing it. But I was just asking Christopher, my boyfriend, just before I came out to film this, what he thought, and straight away he said, you look shiny, and he said, I don't think it looks how you would want it to look. He said he thought he could see it wearing away on my forehead and on this cheek. I can't really see that. Maybe it's just because the lights are so bright. But looking back on the pictures that I took at the start, I actually preferred this side. Now whether that was down to my skin, maybe I think my skin is generally a little bit better on this side, or not. I think I might just prefer it with a brush. I think maybe it blends into the skin a little bit more. But Christopher definitely did say this side looked better than this side. I think maybe it just might be that I have more little pock marks from acne on this side and it shows up more texture. It just doesn't look as smooth, but we both said we preferred this side. So I think I'll stick with a brush for this one anyway. I'll continue to test other foundations with sponges. But yeah, this is my wear test of this foundation. Again, no primer, no touch-ups, on really oily skin for 10 hours of wear. So I would say if you're dry and want really good coverage, I would definitely check this out. If you are oily and want to wear this foundation, I would just say not for a very long period of time unless you can keep on top of it with blotting and touching up, or unless you find a combination of primers and powders that work for you. So I'm going to continue to test this foundation with different primers and powders to see if I can find a combination that does work. And if I do, I'd love to do an updated video on how I would realistically wear this foundation. I do have a new Kiko mattifying primer, so I'm definitely going to try that out with this. But I think for the price, it's good coverage. Whatever about the mattifying or the longevity of it, it's great coverage that lasts Obviously better for dry skin, but for €10 I will definitely give it a proper chance and try and make it work. So yeah, I will try and update you on that. That is it from me for today. If you have this foundation, let me know what you think, or if you have any recommendations on what I should use with it. I'd love to know. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was interesting, and let me know if you have any requests for different foundations to try or different primers to try, and I will try and do that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy, don't forget to give it a like by clicking the thumbs up button that's down below. That lets me know that you like these kinds of videos, and it helps me out a lot. And you can subscribe to my channel for more videos from me if you haven't already and if you'd like to. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.